out here on Lake Toho in Central Florida. It's a series of lakes actually that connect 4 lakes. You have Lake Toho, which is the northernmost lake, where our tournament's actually going out of the north end. Through a canal and lock system, we can actually go into Lake Cypress, Lake Hatchenhall, and then into the larger lake, Lake Kissimmee. Word is that the majority of the fish have been caught schooling in Lake Toho. Not a lot of things going on in Kissimmee and Cypress and Hatchenhall. So therefore, I'm pretty much decided to concentrate the majority of my efforts on finding some of these schooling bass. Usually this time of the year, the water temperature is a lot cooler. Right now, we're talking water temps in the 70s, mid to upper 70s, which is very rare for this time of the year, having unseasonably warm weather. The big fish haven't really been biting. Tournament weights have been, 10, 11 pounds winning most of the local events, and most everybody chasing these schooling bass. For those of you who've never really fished for schooling bass, it's a pretty exciting thing once you get around them. It's a real visual deal. You just get into an area, typically outside of a weed edge or something like that, and when you see the fish moving and breaking, you throw to them. Top water plugs, vibration baits, things like that work really well. The bait that I've been using on these schoolers is just a little Sammy, little bite-sized bait. Throw it on a light-action bait caster, spinning rod, and just work it across the top of the water real erratically. Those minnows, when they get whacked from underneath, they kind of come up and they plane across the top, and these fish come up and get them. But the frustrating part about this whole schooling thing is if they're not schooling, they're not biting. And you just sit and wait sometimes hour or 2 hours, and then all of a sudden they'll pop up and you catch 2 or 3, and then you go for another hour, 2 hours without a bite. That's the part of this deal that's really frustrating me. The only thing I can do is put myself in areas that have the schooling fish and fish them. The only way that you can seem to catch them when they're down is actually to work a Carolina rig or Texas rig worm through those grass patches where you see them schooling. I've been dropping a buoy. If I see them schooling, I'll drop a buoy on that area and kind of fish around it, and I can pick up one every now and then on a Carolina rig when they're actually not feeding. But it's very frustrating. The fish aren't that large. They're just pound and a quarter fish, maybe 2-pounder would be a big one. So, again, 5, 7, 9-pound limits are going to probably be the rule in this tournament. What I plan on doing, if I can, is to get 5 and then go back in and flip matted vegetation. That's where the bigger fish tend to live this time of year, is back in. It's slow, it's methodic, it's difficult, but a lot of times that's how you get your kicker fish, get 5 early and then flip the rest of the day. That's primarily my game plan for this tournament.
It's time for this week's Angler on Tour trivia question. How many Bassmasters Classics has Joe Thomas competed in? A, 2, B, 4, C, 5, or D, 6? We'll have the answer to that question, plus more.
Work that bait really fast and just make it look like a minnow tearing across the top. And in this slick condition, they cannot resist it. There they're coming up. Look at them. There's just acres of them coming up out there. Lots of fish. This is the kind of place you could do good in a tournament. Depending on how many other guys. Look at them pushing the bait. They're just pushing bait. Look, they're over here too. The whole place is opening up. I knew eventually, man, there's a lot of fish in here. Can't help but get excited, man, when they're doing this. This is awesome. Look at them, just everywhere. This whole place is just full of them. Breaking everywhere. Haven't seen any really decent fish though. I know some areas, right here, missed it. Get it, come on, get it. Breaking to the right too, I don't know which way to throw. And these schools will move too. I mean, if, you got to watch the ripples in the water. A lot of times just a little shad flicking here or there, or a shiner flicking will clue you into how the school's moving around. You just try and stay with them. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of other fishermen find this area too. I mean, there's no way that this many fish could go unfound. Well, they were up. They were up. There he is. Gosh, he's getting in that hydrilla. He thinks he's bigger than he is. Another keeper, just a keeper. You know, I need to get out of here. It's kind of hard, you know. It's fun. Every now and then I see a 2-pounder, you know, and just kind of like to catch one nice one in here to just let me realize what's here. This lake, this is a totally different deal. So every time we pack up, move to a different lake, it may only be 2 hours away, we're fishing totally different, you know, and that's the one thing that a lot of people, oh, there they are. That's the one thing that a lot of people don't realize about fishing pros, you know. We're not the best on every, there's one right next to the boat. Get that thing. Oh, jerked it right out. That was a good fish right there by the boat. Oh my gosh. They're all over this place. They are all over this place. Don't know which direction to throw. Oh my gosh. I can't handle it. It's freaking me out. It's right there. Get it, get it, get it. Come on, get it. Come on, big juicy minnow, get it. Got it. You gotta love this, I don't care. Oh, that's a nicer fish. See, that's what we're looking for. You get your 5 of these, and I'll tell you what, Joe Thomas is out of this spot. I'm gonna grab my marker buoy, and I'm gonna get out of here. And I think this would be a good little limit spot for this tournament. I mean, they're munching that little Sammy. It is the bait, you know, it's critical to have the right lure. There you go. Chunky little guys. We'll start with 5 of those. What I was getting to before all that eruption happened was the fact that, you know, as a touring pro, you know, the whole field are versatile fishermen. You know, there's select guys that are better in certain areas, but to be competitive on the tour, you got to be willing to just about do anything. And these guys are truly the best of the best, and can travel to any lake, coast to coast, and get on these fish really quick. Good group of guys.
Don't go away. Angler on Tour will be right back.
Got it. Nice fish. You son of a gun. Nice fish. Man, this is a good spot. Good spot. Boy, look at them. They're just chasing everywhere. Nice one, man. Beautiful fish. Beautiful Florida bass. Boy, if I get 5 and then you get one like that, nice 2.5-pounder, man. Look, it's awesome to know that you got the right lure, and this little Sammy is the deal. Oh, golly. I gotta get my bait back in the water here. I can't leave. I don't care if it is practice. It's too much fun. Here, they're behind me now. Another nice one. I need to get out of here before somebody else sees me. Another nice fish, man. He's bigger than the last one. Wow, what a deal. Got it. Look at it look like it's a nice fish, man. Really nice fish. Whew. Wow. Man, the fish just keep getting bigger. Nice one, man. Man, nice schoolers. I mean, just, you know, here all these other places I've been catching them, you know, the schoolers have been like, you know, barely keepers, 12 inchers. And this spot here, man, they're loaded. There's no boats around. Can't even imagine. I mean, just gorgeous fish, just gorgeous. Sammy 65, my buddy. My buddy. where these mats are, the heavy, thick vegetation where I think the real big flipping fish are living, I absolutely have to go back through this stuff and fight through it to get to those heavy, thick, matted clumps, and it creates shade, and those fish get up underneath it, and that's what we're going to try and do. That's my key thing for this afternoon, is to try and find just a couple of big flipping fish that I can go to if I get a limit of those schoolers. These are what I'm looking for. These are mat clusters of grass. It's different than everything else in this sea of vegetation. They're almost like floating islands that the fish can get underneath. Anytime you see hooved up areas like that, usually it's thick mats, and when you find those, usually you can find the big fish, but you have to cover some water to find them. This is a textbook example of what I'll be looking for and flipping in. There's such a diversity of vegetation. It's very difficult when you first start fishing in Florida to really pick one thing out that's different from the others, because there's reeds, and there's hydrilla, and there's lily pads, and there's maiden cane. All these are types of vegetation that lie right in here, and all of them can produce at different times. You know, if you find bass in the reeds, they're going to be in the reeds. If you find them in the maiden cane, they're going to be in the maiden cane. But again, we've had brutally hot weather. I mean, I am baking. It's 85 degrees, it's bright sunshine, and these mats are going to be where those big fish are. You can see how that vegetation is formed and locked together there and blown in to where it makes a nice canopy for those fish to get up underneath. Real important to keep that hook buried in that plastic. You get just the slightest little bit of point sticking out and it won't go through. There's one. That's a nice one. Nice fish. You know, 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours of this, and one 2.5 pound fish. I mean, I have beat every mat in a 1/4 of a mile here, and that's the first bite I've had. It's a decent fish, but it's not that 7-pounder that I was hoping for. I don't know. Maybe if I get my 5, and I just come here and lock down and you know, and just fish for a big one. Once I've got what I think I can catch out there, I might do that.
Oh, please welcome Jeff McGee. Hello, Jeff.
Hey, Fish, how you doing?
We're going to the scales right now. Let's watch Jeff McGee. He's going to have 10 pounds and 7 ounces. 10.7, that is a beautiful limit. Hold up a couple of these bass right now. Let's see what he'd need to go into the #1 spot. He'll need 400 pounds. The weight, just messing with you, brother. 10 pounds, 14 ounces, 10.14 for Roland. Beautiful catch. He has been all over him this week. Couple of nice bass right there. 12 pounds and 1 ounce. Pick up a couple of these bass, and let's see where this is going to land. Tim Horton. Hold them up right there. That's your champion, ladies and gentlemen. Tim Horton. $110,000, and ESPN2 is proud to present another champion first place trophy. Tim, hold that up. Big round of applause.
This is kind of one I like to get behind me. I limited again today. Very frustrating. You know, every day had its own little frustration. Pulled up on my GPS coordinate this morning, and the closer I got a little closer, and I realized there's a boat sitting there. And not only are they sitting there, he's anchored, and it's Roland Martin, who's in like 4th place in the tournament, and it's the spot where I caught my limit the evening before. And in BASS rules, you can't get within 50 yards of a previously anchored competitor. So I had to sit there and watch Roland catch fish after fish after fish. I caught 5 bass that weighed 7 pounds, 4 ounces. Ended up with 20 pounds for the tournament, 15 fish that weighed 20 pounds, right about the middle of the pack, about 75th place. Timmy Horton led the tournament from gun to gun. As a matter of fact, he didn't even have to go out on the final day. He had the tournament won in 3 days. He didn't even need to catch a bass on the fourth day when they cut to 10, and he walked away with it. But my hat's off to him. Did a great job, and he's a great champion. The next event is going to be at Lake Seminole in February. I'm hoping like heck that it's not a total sight fishing spawning deal, but it's known to be one down there. A lot of good jerk baiting, a lot of good grass fishing. Should be one of the premier events of the year. Again, that's coming up in February, so we're going to get relined and respooled and load up and head for Seminole.